What's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing my favorite palettes of 2021. I'm so excited to talk about some of these palettes today. I usually do a roundup of like the palettes that I've most worn throughout the year. So I'm going to start off with a brand that definitely stole the show for me in 2021 when it came to eyeshadow palettes, and that is Sigma. I always talk about Sigma's eyeshadow palettes because I think that their formula for eyeshadow is by far my favorite. I think the eyeshadows are so smooth and buttery and creamy, and I just really enjoy their formula. And they brought out some whopper palettes this year. Early 2021, around February or March, they brought out the On The Go eyeshadow palettes. There was 6 in the collection. There was a purple one, a green one, there was like a warm palette, a cool palette. They had a pinky kind of one and ones with kind of like reds in them. So I really enjoyed those eyeshadow palettes this year. I thought that they were one of the best that I've tried in a long time. And I have 3 from that collection right here. Also, if you notice I'm missing a nail, ignore. I'm getting them done tomorrow. I haven't had them done since the end of December and they are a hot mess. Anyway, I have 3 that I really enjoy. One that's on my eyes today, so I'll talk about that first. This is the Ivy eyeshadow palette. I'm a sucker for green eyeshadows. I love how compact these palettes are. They just have 9 eyeshadows and you can create lots of different looks with them. You could do like a neutral eye with this because there's a lot of golds and there's like a bronzy shade in it. And obviously the reason why I like this palette so much is because of the pops of green. I just think that this is a gorgeous eyeshadow palette. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. I used Envy in the inner corner, Mead and Clove through my crease, and Thistle to kind of blend them together, and then a little bit of Starlight underneath my lower lash line mixed with Bourbon. I really like this eyeshadow palette. I've been dipping into it quite a lot. This is Envy. Like, it's such a gorgeous shade. And then we've got Elixir here in the middle, and I'll give you a little bit of Thistle. Pigmentation from them is just as great as any other Sigma palette. I really love the Ivy one. That's what I love about these On The Go palettes. If you're looking for like a green look, or you're looking for a purple look, or you're looking for a cool tone look, they have something for you in a 9-pan eyeshadow palette. So the other one that I really like is the Hazy palette. This is obviously more of like purple mauvey tones. Again, you guys know I love my purples. There is no kind of signature purple look in this, if you kind of get my drift. Like, there's no like deep purple or anything like that. They're just a lovely selection of like wearable different purple shades. I really like this because a lot of the shadows I don't actually have in my collection. This is an eyeshadow palette I was using a lot. And the last one that I really liked is the Hazy palette. I think this is one of my most used ones. It just has a lovely selection of cool tone neutral shades. I actually really like this hazel shade here. It's kind of like a camel shade almost, and then they've got this lovely copper tone shade in it as well. I just love how the tones work together in this palette, and I love that you can mix and match palettes as well. They're so compact, they're easy to travel with, and they're small as well, which I love about them. If you're looking for compact eyeshadow palettes, those are your men. The next palette that I really enjoyed this year is from Inglot by Mora, and this is the Crescent Moon palette. I got this in September, October time, and this has a bronzer in it and a highlight, but the highlight is my type of highlight. It's almost like a glowy hue to the skin. It's not like shimmery blinding highlight. I'm just not into them at all anymore. And I love the different browns in this, and I'm holding it upside down. I just really like how blendable they are. Inglot have my favorite formula of eyeshadows. So the shades are really gorgeous, quite blendable, and again, like I said, they're not really something I would normally gravitate towards, but I just feel like the combination of them in this palette I really like. So they obviously have 3 mattes, 3 shimmery eyeshadows, and then the matte bronzer and highlight, which you can obviously use on the eyes. I just found that this was really compact and easy, and again, I just picked it up quite a lot. The next palette I really enjoyed is again from Sigma, and this is their Sigma Ambience palette. I remember I got this in May, right before I went in to have Noah. So this palette just kind of reminds me of that time and just summertime. The shadows in this are right up my alley. They're all warm tones, beautiful coppers in there, and some rose gold shades, gorgeous brown tones, really rich pigmentation, really easy to use, really easy to blend. The colors kind of work seamlessly together, and when I was looking for like really quick easy eyeshadow looks, this was like my go-to palette. I brought this everywhere. It just has just everything you need for neutral eyeshadows, and I really enjoy it. I love the gold shades that are in it, and like I said, the rose gold shades, again, they're just different and they kind of make a look, you know the way you kind of get sick of just a plain matte neutral look. Well, I do. So I like to pop some of these shades on the lid and they just transform an eye look. The shimmers are quite pigmented and they don't fade throughout the day. I love how easy and breezy this palette is. Like, it's just, you apply it, you go. There's no faffing about, there's no fallout, there's no extreme need to blend or anything like that. The shadows just work really, really well and they blend really well, and it's a really great palette. So if you are looking for like a neutral eyeshadow palette, or you just are a newbie and you don't know where to go eyeshadow palette wise, I definitely recommend the Sigma ones just to start yourself off, especially if you don't have any eyeshadows or neutrals in your collection. Like, I mean, you kind of have everything there. Everything. Yeah. Stone Cold Fox from Colourpop. But I will say that you get what you pay for with this palette. This was really inexpensive. It is a really nice eyeshadow palette. I don't have a plain straight up cool tone eyeshadow palette, and this was right up my alley. I love obviously the pink tones in this. I love the fact there's like a matte black in it, there's silvers in it. I just really enjoy the cool tones in this, but like I said, you get what you pay for. I find that the eyeshadows just have a little bit of kick up from them, and you do have to apply a lot more of the shadow to get the colour payoff, but the eyeshadows last really well. The colours are really vibrant once you kind of build them up. I just feel like this palette is a little bit more work than, we'll say, any of the Sigma palettes, but I can't deny that the colours are amazing, and I can't deny that I have dipped into this quite a lot and used it quite a lot this year. And I really like that I don't have these colours in my collection in other palettes, and that's what made this kind of unique for me. I decluttered quite a lot of eyeshadow palettes this year because I just felt like I wasn't reaching for them, but I felt like I dipped into this one a fair bit, so you can kind of see the payoff from those shimmers. Are really great. I feel like the shimmery shadows come up a little bit better on the eye, and you don't need like to wet your brush or anything like that. You can if you want to intensify them. I just felt like the matte shades were just the ones that you needed to build up just a little bit. This is definitely a go-to for me. I really enjoyed it, but like I did say, you get what you pay for, and that's no shade to Colourpop. I just know that they're a really affordable brand. The palette I want to talk about is the Naked Urban Decay Wild West palette. I was really pleasantly surprised by this eyeshadow palette. When I initially tried it, I didn't think that I was going to love it as much as I did. I didn't think I was going to dip into it as much as I did. Now, when I say like I wore it quite a lot, obviously I'm not wearing that much makeup this year. It's just I don't have the time. So when I was reaching for an eyeshadow palette, it was one of the ones I'm talking about today, but I quite liked the Wild West palette. I thought that it had a really nice selection of colours. I have mentioned in my review of this, if you eliminated the two green colours, that it just becomes a neutral palette. However, the neutrals that are in it, I don't have anything to compare them to. Like, I've tried comparing them to the Ambience palette, and all the tones and the textures are different, and the way that they work on the eye is different. I really loved the shade Rustler, and I also loved the shade Spur and Nude just to apply through the crease, and the shade Whiskey was another one that I really enjoyed. So you can create a really nice neutral eye with this, or you can use the greens to just create something a little bit more exciting, and you don't have to go like all over the lid with it. Sometimes I just pop the shade Bud underneath my lower lashes, and I felt like that kind of made a bit of a statement eye. But I really enjoyed this palette. I love the formula of Urban Decay. I have done for years, and again, like I said, this is just a different type of palette from them, even though it's kind of sticking to the naked theme. But I do enjoy like the fact that there was greens in it and something a little bit different. The final one I want to talk about is a little bit pricey, €70 palette. Quite expensive for 6 shades, but I will say that this has been a go-to for me. It is from Charlotte Tilbury, and it's their Super Nudes Easy Eye palette. The reason why I've been using this so much is just because how small it is, how compact it is. You can literally throw it in your handbag. And again, anything that's quick, easy and small, I've been all about that life because I don't have that much time when it comes to makeup. So I want something that works really well, is pigmented, is easy to use, and again, I just throw it in a makeup bag, and you know, it's handy, especially going between my house and Paddy's house. I don't be bringing big eyeshadow palettes with me. I tend to just use this one. So it has been one of probably the most used eyeshadow palette I've had this year, and I really like it. The colors are, like I said, they're really neutral, they're basic browns, but the quality of these eyeshadows are the reason why it is so expensive. Probably one of the best quality eyeshadow palettes I've used, and I love Natasha Denona, I love Viseart, I love my eyeshadows, but I do think that this formula it's a really great formula. They are so buttery, they're pigmented, they're really easy to use, and you use and you need a tiny amount of the product to build it up. This has everything you need for a neutral eye. I just applied this all over the lid and just did a little bit of a brown wing liner. I really like this palette, and I'm not saying that everybody needs to go out and get it because obviously I know it's quite pricey, but I just like the selection of colours in it, and just it has been one of my most used eyeshadow palettes this year, so I couldn't not include it. But I do feel like you can get nearly a similar look with the Ritzy palette from Sigma. So if you just want something a little bit more on a budget but something as convenient as this, but you can see why I, you know, pack this one first, because it's tiny and it's convenient and the shades are great in it. Anyway, this wraps up my favorite eyeshadow palettes of 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. What eyeshadow palettes were you loving this year? I would love to hear, and if there's any that you think that I need to be checking out or I need to do a review on, let me know and I will get to it. I will talk to you guys all in my next video. I love you so much and I hope you're having a fantastic January so far. I love you guys. Mwah.